Live from the Tap Studio, it is the Fitness on Tap podcast where laziness is loathed, tenacity is king, and pursuing excellence has filled the hearts of former couch potatoes. I'm Tom, we'll be joined with Stacey, and today we will be covering goals and productivity. If you're a person that struggles to accomplish that to-do list, and you find yourself getting distracted with other tasks, putting out fires, and just caught up in your everyday, look forward to Stacey and I discussing some tactics, some strategies, and some books to help you accomplishing that to-do list and actually making some traction to getting to your goals.
We are here to love others first, above ourselves. We find joy in honing and sharpening ourselves in all aspects of life. Our nutrition, fitness, mindset, and habits. In order to show with actions, not just words, our utmost respect, love, and devotion. We are the blade, the tool used to help others without fail.
Hey guys, coming at you today with some discussion about goals and productivity.
It's a really fun topic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, whew, yes.
It's super exciting, but it's actually
Woo!
very, very good. So first, what does it even look like to be busy versus being productive? And what's the difference?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't even, most Americans don't even really think about this. But I've literally read the book Indestractable, which I love the book. I didn't get as many takeaways as I would have liked from it. One of the biggest takeaways that I got was an app I can explain. But going back to busy versus productive, or being proactive, it's just something that a lot of people tend to put out fires throughout their entire day, and they pay attention to one quadrant of their life, and I'll kind of explain that a little bit more in detail later, but they tend to get to the end of their day and they're like, I didn't spend any time with my family.
What did I do today?
Or, oh my goodness, all I did was work. Or, I literally had a client this week have to cancel or not come to a morning session because he literally worked till 10 p.m. and then was going to come to 5 a.m. class the next day. And he said he couldn't come to 5 a.m. class because he had to actually go back to work the next morning. And I looked at him and I'm like, at what point do you just say no?
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's an engineer and things like that, but I'm like, at what point is this quadrant of your life taking over every other quadrant? So I think the biggest thing is just being very self-reflective, allowing yourself time on a very regular basis to reflect and not just be in a reactive mode. Because I think a lot of us really get into that as far as overall.
Yeah. I like the analogy of being busy is just like putting out fires all day.
Yeah.
And then you're moving throughout your day, but you're not having any kind of long-term effect on your goals, putting out fires. And then obviously being productive is more doing something that moves you towards your goal. So with goals, how do you set them? I think everyone knows what a goal is. I don't think they need to define that, but how do you set a goal?
Yeah, so I'm kind of indifferent about goals. I like the analogy that I got from somebody at some point where what's the difference between dreams and goals?
Sure.
Okay? So what's a dream?
We would love to live on a property with land.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so and now what's the difference between a dream and a goal?
So a dream would just be, hey, I want this someday. But a goal would be, all right, if we're going to do that, we need to save this much money per paycheck to save up for a down payment on a new house or something like that.
Yeah. So you've put action steps in place that you're actually attacking to get to that dream. That's the difference between a goal and a dream. So that's, and I think you get that in what you just explained. But for us, our goal is the same thing, actually. We actually want to move outside of the city. We want to have more land. I don't know if we actually want to have more land. I really just want to have my gym on my property and have kind of a destination gym. That is an all-out dream where, I don't have to, I own it. I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to be held down. I don't have to be slave to the lender of this property I can own it. People can come from far and wide, and like we can literally have like a bed and breakfast fitness place type of thing where it's like a destination fitness place in Omaha, Nebraska, and we take you around in all the other time and treat you. Anyways, but we do have steps in place for that, and currently we're paying off our debt to get to that.
Sure.
And we are working at what Dave Ramsey would say, gazelle intensity, to do that. And I'm at the point right now where we just have to make more money, which is like, gah.
Yeah.
How do I make more money? There's plenty of ways, but trying to devote so much to the gym here. So again, going back to goals versus dreams. What are your dreams? Are you actually making action steps to make them goals and make them actually reality in your future? Because obviously, like a goal for us, like what you explained, and having property and land that we own, that's probably a 60-year-old dream for us, which kind of sucks because we're 35. But it's like, that is my dream.
Yeah.
And I want to someday make it happen. And then when I die, I want to be able to pass all of those assets and extra things onto my family and be like, here you go. You don't owe any money for us when we die. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Here's like $1 million to live your life. You know what I mean? So, anyways,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have this really funny visual going on in my head of this house with the gym on it and property. Like, would you guys ever have goats?
Oh, we totally have. So,
Then you could do goat yoga there. Did you know goat yoga?
Oh yeah, Kaylee sent that to me on Facebook. So I know that we would have chickens. I know that we would have goats. And one of my other dreams is actually to own another business, and that's why I would like to have more land. The other business is like a dog rescue, and like literally I want that to be like a nonprofit and something that really, I don't know, gives back. And that is kind of like what the gym is for too. But the gym is meant to be for profit.
Sure.
Even though it's not extremely profitable right now, but we're only 2 years in. So it's one of those where, like, that is, like, my dream, my goal is to have all those things on one property. Because, like, especially with the coronavirus and, like, COVID, I realized just how much time I spend in the vehicle.
Sure.
I'm literally gaining an hour a day. That's my workout. Like,
Yeah.
And now I could do the other hour to hour and a half time doing other stuff. So anyways.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so setting up goals, you kind of set up checkpoints so that you can know if you're on track, right?
Yep.
And I feel like in general it's so easy to just get distracted and get off track, where you start getting just busy and not productive again. So then how do you find balance between, like, let's say you want to be, I know for you want to be a good business owner, you also want to be a really good dad. So how do you find balance between those? Because if you spend all your time on the business side, then just naturally you're going to lack on the dad side. But if you focus all your time on the dad side, naturally business is going to lack a little bit. So how do you find balance to be able to do?
Yeah, I think just looking at your life and going back to kind of the quadrants, like that's one thing that I'm always so self-reflective of basically like the first quadrant is basically like what's highly important, and then urgent, what's highly important, not urgent, and the bottom quadrant is basically what's not important, urgent, and then not important, highly urgent.
Not important, not urgent?
Not important, not urgent, yes. And most people, most Americans, most people that live their normal lives in America are stuck in the not important, not urgent category. Like they literally, that's the fires, those are the things that you literally need to like put to the side. Or like the fun stuff, the social media stuff, most people are literally spending their lives, we just talked about TV, and what was it, 3.5 to 4 hours a day that people are spending on that?
Yeah, the 2017 Wikipedia said it was 3.58 hours a day.
On social media?
Just
or
TV. That doesn't even include social media.
So, so that's where most people are stuck in that, and they aren't being self-reflective. So that's why I do truthfully think that everyone needs to have at least 5 minutes, if not 20 minutes, to be self-reflective, to work on meditation, to work on listening to a book, to do something that is getting them out of their normal grind. And I think that's why so many people feel like garbage at the end of the day, is because they don't ever take time for themselves to like actually think.
Sure.
They're just letting everyone else do the thinking for them, and they get to the end of the day and they're like, oh, I feel like garbage. And it's like, the main reason you feel like crap is because you've literally just been digesting information from other things rather than actually investing into yourself or putting things in that you actually truly like. So that's why for me, I really pay attention to the highly important, not urgent category, because that's where you should be spending the majority of your time. And that's things like family, fitness, faith, what else would you say is in there? Finances.
Sure. Yeah. I think those are big ones.
So anyways, those are most things that most people are like, oh, no, yeah, I'll get around to it, you know? And it's like, no, you're not.
Then they don't.
You are not going to find time for it. You have to make the time for it. So, excuse me. So a lot of people tend to not pay attention to that category and tend to let themselves fall into other categories. Even sometimes the highly important urgent stuff takes over the highly important not urgent stuff. You know, like meetings, emails, like that guy that I was just talking about with the engineer. And I'm like, look, like, you die tomorrow. Are you going to be happy that you're spending 17-hour days at work?
Yeah.
And you didn't even see your 5-month-old son? Like, you know, so what I do and what I've done to put it into tactical is you need to take that and then analyze where are your hours, because your time is an asset.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's one thing that I've learned as being a business owner is that, okay, sleep is important. That would be something that's not urgent, right? You know, that's another thing that I would say goes in that category. But I need to get 8 hours, right? Like, goal would be 8 hours.
Right.
We probably rarely get that. So do as I say, not as I do, correct? But the biggest thing there is focusing on, like, how many hours am I supposed to spend there? Okay, what time do I go to bed? What do I need to do before that? And then basically, like, putting almost like time limits on things. Okay, it's X time, I need to go back to this activity. I said that I was doing that now. You know, I can't let my social media take out. But you do want to leave time for, like, those not urgent, not important things too, to, like, kind of let yourself, you know, because if you don't, it's kind of like not eating bad food for a while. You know, eventually you're going to, like, binge on some really crappy food for, like, weeks, and then eventually, like, be like, wow, I'm 20 pounds overweight. If you don't let yourself indulge a little bit every now and then.
Sure. Yeah.
So
yeah, I think a lot of it's just being proactive, like thinking about your day and being proactive with it rather than just reacting to it all day long. So you can figure out, you know, your time and all that
making
kind
a
of
plan.
stuff. Right. Yeah. Make a plan.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about time sucks. Like things out of your day that just suck up your time that you could probably do without, right?
Yeah.
Make things more productive. So we talked about the TV. 3.58 hours a day, which is 35.5 hours a week. That's like a whole work week people spend watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 3 years ago. So it's probably even, who knows, probably even more.
Yeah.
And then social media, or time people spend on their phone. I don't even know what the average is for that, but I know I've seen on my phone.
I think it's 2 to 3.
I feel like that would be low.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's so easy to, like, just like, do it at spurts throughout the day.
Right.
And, like, even this morning, like, I was getting ready, and I was actually messaging Kaylee a little bit more than usual. And then I had another person text me about what, like, rig we have and what company we went through. And I let that, like, time suck my morning. So, like, I was actually running, like, I think 10 minutes late to get here for my workout.
Sure.
Because I literally, like, let text messaging, like, time suck my time rather than actually doing the things to get ready in the morning. So, I mean, it's so crazy. Yeah, like, it's so crazy. I almost look at it like, you know, like AMRAPs where you're, like, strategizing, like, how quickly can I go from this movement to that movement? How quickly can I, like, transition? How fast can I stay on this? And I start to see how, like, when you get good at that, you get good at other stuff at, like, not paying attention to the crappy stuff in life. You know, because like that, like basically in that AMRAP of getting ready this morning, I started to like let other things get in the way, and I let other things like get in between my transitions.
Yep.
And I started like, oh, instead of actually like sitting on the toilet to go to the bathroom, oh, I'm just sitting on the toilet to keep texting. You know what I mean? And like I spent an extra hour and a half or something, and it adds up. You know, like how many people go to use the bathroom, take their phone, and like literally are on there for like a half an hour to an hour because they're social media.
My husband's the worst at that. I'm like,
I
are
think
you
a lot of
actually
guys-
going to the bathroom? He's like, some of the time.
Some of the time. How much is this is actually productive work towards you pooping?
It's like, it should not take you that long. We have issues.
I was just like, we need to go to the doctor if it's taking you that long.
Yeah. I do not get, even if I took my phone in there, like, I still do not get quiet time in the bathroom.
Yeah, you're
Which-
mommy.
Yeah, I'm mom, so kids, it's like they know when you're in the bathroom, they know.
I don't. What is the difference between, like, I know that you had the child and stuff, but like, it is insane to see the difference between Owen and me, and Kaylee and Owen. Like, it is just insane. Like, he literally is like a leech.
Yeah.
Like mommy milk, you know, like walks around with her like, I mean, he is like, I'm literally like, oh gosh, I don't think I can handle it, you know?
Yeah. My husband's always like, I can help you with that. I'm here. Like, I still exist, you know? And the kid's like, no, we want mommy to do it. Okay, well, thank you for offering.
It's so bad. So many times I'm like, sorry, babe, I tried.
Yeah.
You know?
He doesn't want me. I don't know what else to do.
So anyways, yeah.
Yeah. So, Omaha used to be a 15-minute city, but I think now the average commute's like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 40 minutes a day for average. And even that time in the car, I feel like people could make productive, you know?
Yeah, that's why I was just saying, like, that drive time is huge. And I typically always make mine productive. I just think a lot of people don't want to make things more productive. They don't want to actually change to getting closer to their goals because they don't know how. They need accountability to do it. I found that I'm not the normal person. Like, we cut out TV last year, and it actually wasn't that hard. It was just taking the TV down.
Sure.
That was the really hard thing. Like, literally taking it off the wall and putting it away. Like, to make that decision and actually do it was, like, painful.
Yeah.
But then once it was done, I was like, oh.
This isn't so bad.
Yeah, this isn't too bad.
Books are actually really interesting.
I think that getting a person to actually, like, listen to audiobooks while they're in the car, to getting them to know what app to use, to giving them the action steps is, like, what those people need.
Yeah.
And then every now and then a person checking, hey, how's your audiobook going? Oh, I haven't been listening to it. I've just been sitting and listening to the radio. Because let's be real honest, nobody should be on the radio. Nobody should be on social media. Like, those are really things that everyone should cut. Like, even TV nowadays, I'm like, man, everything is just garbage.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it is just bad. And the funny part is, you talk to everybody and they're like, I know. It really is. I'm proud of you for cutting out TV. I could never do that.
Oh, I totally could. I could. If my family was on board, I could totally do it.
Anyways, it's one of those things that I think everybody has it in them. They just don't think they can, you know? So, but I love Zig Ziglar. He actually came up with the idea. It's called Automobile University. And he basically says that, like, in your drive time, your commute every day, listen to audiobooks. And he actually makes a ton of audiobooks. And I think he was one of the first people that founded audiobooks. And great salesman, great motivational speaker. Many people in, like, I think the 80s, 90s, early 2000s loved Zig Ziglar.
Yeah.
And, like, have you heard of him before?
Yeah.
But amazing guy. Like, he's dead now, but I love his stuff. You know, he's hilarious. He's super motivational, very wholesome. And then it's one of those, though, that he was actually the first person that kind of taught me use this time as something rather than just mindless, like, because also, like, it kind of takes your mind off of, like, people being a-holes on the road, too. It takes your mind off of like rushing. You know, it allows you to be more of a better individual to other people on the road, you know, working on yourself.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah. A lot of times in my drive time, usually we don't drive more than like 10 minutes to get somewhere, because we stay pretty close to home, but we use that time to like listen to worship music.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll, you know, pocket that in. And
I was going to say, which isn't a bad thing, you know, like
Yeah.
that's something I probably don't do enough.
And then sometimes podcasts, but if my kids are in the car, they prefer the music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not interested in podcasts yet, but.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know of any kid podcasts. So you're probably
There are
right.
some, but it's more like my 10-year-old would enjoy listening to like the kid ones, but they don't really have, I don't think they have podcasts, at least not that I know of, for
They have to be videos.
like a 3-year-old.
It has to be very, like, lights, colors, interactive.
Yeah.
Mm.
Have you even noticed, I know you don't watch TV a lot, but old movies, like the movies that we grew up with that are cartoons, and the cartoon movies now, like how much more flashier and
How much
faster
more
things
color there is.
change.
So we watched Bambi.
Yeah.
Have you watched Bambi?
Oh, yeah.
And just to see how dull the colors are. And like I literally like had like this moment of like, oh, this is really good. This is like wholesome. You know, there are plenty of parts of Bambi that are like, oh, I don't remember this.
Yeah.
But seeing Owen watch like Buster the Bus on YouTube compared to Bambi, and like how loud the volume is,
Sure.
and how flashy the colors are, and how quick things go around.
Yeah.
You know, and like I was just like, your brain has to be on overload, and I think that's why when kids watch those things, they're like, they're
Yeah.
literally a boob.
For sure.
Like, so
Yeah.
boob tube. It's now the phone. Anyways,
Yeah.
we were watching a small story before we move on. We were watching Avatar yesterday because we actually had some time to like kill. We had a date day, so we watched Avatar because Kaylee picked it, and I was like, I love Avatar. Why not? And we're watching it, and computers in there. Like I'm like, I think computers are literally going to be like this in like a decade. And then I also told her, like the helicopters that they have in there are like drones that we have nowadays. And I'm like, we already have those. That's amazing. And that's what drones look like now. And then what else did they have in there? Oh, it was them getting into the pod and the whole Avatar thing. You remember you talking about how much you like virtual reality? I told Kaylee, I was like, I literally think Avatar is going to be a real thing where people like get to a point where they're like, I wish that I could change my body into what I can make it to in my virtual reality.
Yeah.
You know, because it's, have you seen Avatar?
Yeah.
So you know the end where he like he can't walk, he's got broken legs, and they change him through the mother and like basically take his consciousness from his old body and put it into his new Avatar body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the end, and it's like, oh, this is the greatest movie ever, you know, and it's like, this is amazing. I literally think that like the thing that he gets into is eventually going to be a real life thing, and there's going to be like pods of people that just want to live their lives in virtual reality.
Yeah.
Like they literally don't want to live. They just want to like be in this fake world because it's so much better, you know?
Yeah.
And I was telling Kaylee, and eventually she was like, stop talking about stuff like that during this movie. Let's just watch
Let's
it.
just enjoy it.
And I was like, sorry. Okay, let's watch the movie. It was a
Yeah.
great movie.
Now you gotta go down to Disney World and go through Avatar.
Oh gosh, I'm sure it's amazing. Avatar, like I was like, that changed 3D. It changed 3D. Like I watched that, and 3D was huge after that. And then now the AMC's closed. My favorite IMAX movie theater in Omaha, Nebraska is shut down because of COVID. Like never reopening.
Man.
So I'm pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
Freaking COVID. All right, what else we got?
I think that sums it up for today.
Okay, well, that's a really weird note to end it on. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so
It's alright. It's life.
let's end it a little bit different than that. But one thing that I would say, as far as going back to the whole productivity aspect, is just making sure that you guys are being more focused on paying attention to not just reacting to things, and being very, very proactive towards just what you're doing in life and being productive. But I really truthfully think that everybody just needs time to reflect. So actually giving yourself time to reflect and not just going about the day, and just making sure that you put yourself first every now and then. Remembering, I don't know how much you think about this as a mom, but as a mom in an airplane, you got to put your own mask on first before you can save your kids.
Yep.
It's okay if they're unconscious for a few seconds. It's not okay if you're unconscious first, because you can't help them. So you have to take care of yourself first, and that's the biggest thing with, I think, dreams, goal setting, being productive, all of those things. We all suck at it. I'm not the greatest at it. I'm still working every day, and I would say you're probably in the same with that.
Of course.
Yeah. So keep at it. Don't think you're perfect. You're gonna mess up. But on that note, we'll see you next time.